What's up you guys, it's me, Karo Foxx again, and today I thought I am going to film a little video about how to straighten your hair correctly. I have been a hairdresser for the last 7 years, I'm a qualified hairdresser, and I thought I'm just going to share my knowledge with you guys. So the most important thing is that you use heat protection for your hair. I have already heat protection in my shampoo, so but for the purpose of this video I'm going to use the GHD heat protection spray, and I'm just going to spray it onto my dry hair. You can have it damp as well, doesn't really matter, then blow dry it, because obviously you're going to blow dry it, so you need that heat protection before that. So I used to have the GHD styler. I had 2 of them actually. The one broke after many years of dropping it constantly, and the other one dropped after a very short amount of time. So a few months ago I had to buy a cheap one because I couldn't afford it immediately. I'm going to get it very soon. I cannot stress enough that this is going to change your life, GHD, compared to this one. It does the job, but the GHD just regulates its heat to your hair, so it doesn't heat up too much. It's like perfect for your hair. But this one, like, you can like change the settings, and you can, I don't know, fry your hair with it to make sure it's not too hot. Obviously you want to make sure, oh my god, I go through very quickly, but for the sake of your hair, don't do that. And we're just going to spray the spray everywhere. So now we're just going to wait until it has dried down again. Make sure that your hair is 100% dry, even if you just wash it or it's like a little bit damp at the back of your head. So what happens is, when you go over it with a straightener, the moisture just wants to get out of the hair, so that's why it starts steaming. So it explodes in the hair, and that's how your hair fries and gets very weak and just starts to split at one point. So we do not want that, so make sure your hair is 100% dry. So first we're going to section our hair. So the second section is going to be lower. So I'm just going to use a clip. So I'm just going to use this brush of mine, and I'll just put the left and the right side forward. So then always make sure you brush your hair. Make sure you hold in your brush, start from the root and slowly straighten through, and make sure the brush is always at the ends, because we don't want to have a detangled straight hair. So now on the sides the same thing, brush it through and slowly straighten it towards the end. You just have to do it once, you don't have to do it several times, because you try to damage your hair as less as you can. Always make sure you use section by section and don't straighten over the already straightened hair. Sometimes when you can feel a knot, just go back in with the brush, and then go back in with a straightener, brush it again, and then slowly work your way towards the ends. Rather take smaller, make sure that the section isn't too big, because otherwise you won't get the hair throughout the whole section, and then hair in between is not going to be straight, and you have to go over it many times. So always leave the hair that you straighten in the front, and just put the top at the back. Now we're just going to section it up again. Also, before I forget, very important, when you have an iron, there's always like a tiny gap in between. That's just to make sure that you do not burn your hair, or that you have, sometimes when you have like a thicker section, it still fits through it. So do not press it, because you really want to like straighten it very hard. Just gently tap it together. So that's how you do not damage your hair as well. And something what I like to do at the end of the section, I'm going back in, and now I'm just going to let it go through and then go back in with the brush, because what's going to happen, it gives me a little bit of a nice movement on the ends. So if you have shorter hair, then just make sure when you straighten it towards the end, you have like this very straight angle, don't flick it out. If you flick it out, it doesn't look nice anymore. Rather straighten it inside a tiny bit rather than outside, because otherwise you're getting like these little jumpy bits on the bottom, which you don't want. You just want to have nice and straight. Alright, onto the top bit. So my part is going to be on this side. So this is going to be my last section because it's going to be the top bit. So what I'm going to do is just take this section from the top to the back, so that the part is almost in the middle. We work our way to the middle, or we work our way towards the part. So if your part's in the middle, then have a section left and right. Now I start from the back, a little section again. First brush. What I don't like to do when you go towards the top, don't straighten the roots, because otherwise you're going to get rid of all the volume and you don't just want to have it look too flat. So I'm just going to start a little bit further down. Unless you have very curly hair, then you should start on the roots. But other than that, if you have straight hair like me, you do not have to do that. Especially when you have fine hair, don't straighten the roots, because otherwise it's going to be too flat. So you just want to start here. So now we're just focusing on our part, which is going to be on the side. And I do not straighten the back yet. So just both sides. And this bit right here is going to be our last section. So now we're just going to take this, and I don't always like to have like this very straight part, so I don't mind when it looks a bit messier. And on the ends, I'm going to do this again. Because I have layers in the front, it looks nicer when you just turn it inside a little bit more. So now we're just going up, because I want to make sure that we have a little bit more volume on top, and then we'll just slowly bring it towards the bottom. And bring it down. Now we're just onto the back, and we'll part this one. I'll just lay this to the side because I don't want to put the clip in it again, because I remember where it is. Make sure you brush it. So I just had to get up a little bit so that you can see what I'm going to do on the ends. If you have very thick hair, you might have to section it again, but I know I can get my hair through it once. Alright, so you're just going to brush it, right? Remember, make sure it's all brushed. Right, go in, slowly go down, and put the brush leg in. Leave it there. You see that? And we're going onto the side. Again, just leave it. And the very front bit. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm going to use a comb like that, so this makes it easier to just comb the back. So I'm just going to use a comb like that. This is going to make it easier to comb the hair backwards, but you can also just use a brush like that. That's like similar thing. So now, the end of your part, right? So you're just going to go straight to both sides, and then it's just like a half of a moon. So you go back round. Push it up. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's round. So then we're going to use our comb. Just tease it down. Don't forget the sides as well, until you feel like you can't tease it anymore. Then we're just going to use some hairspray. and leave it like this just to make sure the hairspray is dried, and going to leave it. Beautiful. Leave it just like that. So now, because our part is here, we have more hair on this side than on this. You have much less hair here than you have here. So we're going to like part it a little bit. Just going to can you hear that? So we're going to brush it up again. We're using our comb and down and up and in again and tease it and tease it and tease it. Using hairspray again. Leave it like that just to make sure it all dries very good. And we push it over to the other side. And we're using our last section. Always brush it. And tease, 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 tease. You shouldn't tease your hair on a daily basis just because it's not very healthy for your hair. But if you have a night out or you just want to give your hair a bit more volume, then go for it. You know, why not? Just don't overdo it. What I like to do is like brushing it out already, just a bit in the front, just very gently, because you don't want to see any knots like that. Going to use hairspray again, because we want to keep the volume. You can like push it up a little bit so that it dries in like this angle, like in this volume, the way you pushed it. Push this one over. We do the top bit always as the last one. So this section is much smaller, which means it needs much more volume than this side, where you just have like lots of hair. This one, obviously, as I showed you before, has less hair, or is a smaller section. So we have smaller sections as well, but also two, because we need more volume, so we need to make extra sure that we have lots of volume. So we tease it a bit more. Hairspray, brush it, and tease it, tease it, tease it. Hairspray, let it dry, flick it down. So I'm just going to place it very nicely, and I always just use the edges of my brush, and I'll just brush it slightly down. See, like already gives you more volume. Hairspray, just a little bit always. What I like to do is doing this just to make sure the volume stays up. Flick it back, and we start with the back. Spread it like to all directions, like this. Use your brush and gently brush it over, not too much, because we don't want to brush it out again. Gently. It's a little tip for you. It's really good when you even have like a little mirror that you can hold in your hand, and just go to the bathroom or wherever you have like a big mirror, and just hold the small mirror in your hand, and let's imagine here's the bigger mirror, and you can just see how the back of your head looks like, and you can just comb it out a little bit more in case you can see some knots. And we're going to spread it out a little bit, and we want to make sure it blends in with our back section. So just comb it over gently. Even put your hand underneath to make sure that you still get this volume here in the front. What you can also do is just like wiggle around, like bring it up a little bit. Like even just pushing it up helps a lot. So just like a setting spray, you want to make sure it lasts all day and all night, right? So you're going to use a little bit of hairspray. When you have the front out of your face, then just push it that way while you're hairspraying it. Let it sit for a little bit. I just like to brush out this bit because I don't like to have any hairspray on my ends. So I'm just going to brush this out. Alright, so I just like to have like a little bit of volume, not too much, but it's much better than before. And have like this really nice shine on the ends. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it just looks absolutely stunning, just beautiful. It looks healthy when you brush over it. So because we have straightened our hair so much, your ends might be a little bit dry, so what I like to do is just using a little bit of oil. So I'm just going to use the oil from Karo's Task, just pump like 1, 2, because there's a lot coming out and I have a lot of hair. So if you have fine hair, maybe just start with half of a pump and then just work your way up. In case you need a little bit more, make sure you really put it into your hands everywhere. We're not just going in, right? We're not using this bit. We're always just using with our fingers. So we're just gliding through, because we don't want to put too much oil onto one bit. Then we're just going to mix it again using our fingertips, and like we can go through like that, mixing it again towards your fingertips. And as you can tell, I'm just brushing it. I'm never ever going to use the palm of my hand. Mixing it. Same thing. So if you put oil too high onto your roots, it will break down your hairspray, so hairspray will be gone. So just make sure that you very gently, just like the last bits, are going to put towards like this bit, but never ever go onto your roots. You also don't want it to be too greasy. And then when you have almost nothing left, because now I have almost nothing left, right? I can just go through like this, because the ends is like the most important thing, because they always suffer the most. And they're also the oldest, so they need lots of care. And it gives even more shine, makes it really healthy, really nice, as you can see. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you could take some tips and tricks out of this video as well. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye!